kerajaan memutuskan untuk melaksanakan Perintah Kawalan Pergerakan mulai 18 Mac 2020 iaitu lusa hingga 31 Mac 2020 di seluruh negara.
COVID-19 has brought the global economy to its knees.
The pandemic has been an enormous synchronised global economic shock on a scale which has not been seen since the Second World War.
By the end of 2020, the world's GDP may be about 7.5% lower than it would have been without the pandemic.
Assalamualaikum and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the one and only Talk to Employers. I am Nurul Nadia, your moderator for today, and I would like to thank all of the panels with me for tonight. Thank you very much for attending our forum today. The video that was posted a moment ago to some extent provides an overview of the topic that will be discussed in our forum today. Tonight, we will discuss a topic that is related to the effect of the pandemic on companies in Malaysia, especially in the Human Resource Department. Our topic is the pandemic has influenced recruiting trends. However, before we start, let me introduce our panels for today. Our first panel today came from Mentari Holding Sdn Bhd, Ms. Nurul Iman binti Rosdi, a General Manager of Human Resource Department. How are you doing today?
I am doing great, thank you.
Glad to hear that, Ms. Nurul Iman. Our second panel, the most important person in the Human Resources Department of all Malaysia, Ms. Noraini binti Muhammad, Officer of the Ministry of Human Resources. Thank you for spending your time with us tonight. I hope you're doing good.
It was me who was supposed to thank you for inviting me tonight. Alhamdulillah, I'm good. How are you, Ms. Nadia?
Alhamdulillah, I am just thankful that I'm still breathing in these pandemic days. All right. Next is Ms. Nur Marini Nabila binti K. Mazlan, freelance speaker of Human Empowerment and Development. How is your freelance job doing now during the pandemic?
Alhamdulillah, I'm doing good so far. During this pandemic, I am more focused on online talk like this, just to share my knowledge and also to help the companies to grow well, although it is tough right now, I know.
Yeah, it is a good heart that you have helps a lot during this pandemic, I believe. Please continue to be kind to all, Ms. Nur Marini. And our last panel for tonight is Ms. Almidah binti Samsil, Deputy Officer of Human Resource Development Cooperation, or also known as HRDF. Thank you for coming online today. How are you doing?
Alhamdulillah, I am fine and I feel good to finally able to be in the same forum with you, Ms. Nadia.
Oh, thank you so much, Ms. Almida. By the way, we all know that the pandemic has changed most of our current process in recruiting new talent. We are no longer able to run a face-to-face interview. In fact, the new talent also needs to learn and understand their tasks themselves while working from home. This may look simple, however, there are pros and cons to the new recruiting process. Thus, without delay any further, let us start with our first panel. Ms. Nurul Iman, what do you think about our current process in recruiting new talent?
Okay, thank you, Ms. Moderator. Assalamualaikum and good evening, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank all of you for having me today in this forum. To answer your question, I would say that year 2020 and 2021 was tough on recruiters. Today's recruiting environment has never been more challenging. The pandemic and its repercussions definitely devastated some talent acquisition teams, hit new demands on others, and proved to be a historic change agent as virtually recruiting and onboarding a remote workforce became the norm for many. Recruiters are leveraging a variety of methods and tactics to connect with prospective candidates. According to research by Job5, 84% of recruiters are currently adapting their hiring processes to facilitate remote exchanges. Of them, 58% are now using social media networks like LinkedIn, Facebook, and even Instagram to connect potential hires, while nearly half are increasing the number of postings that they make on these services to advertise open positions. A growing army of recruiters is likewise turning to video conferencing solutions to screen and interview candidates as well, with as many as 8 in 10 now making it a key part of the hiring process. Digital communications tools such as artificially intelligent job outreach programs and text messaging are also increasingly being implemented as a means of connecting with candidates. Even as 55% of recruiters are also falling back on phone calls to source potential hires. In addition, more and more firms are looking to leverage analytic tools which can scan resume and data that you input to automatically surface key insights and information at a glance with each passing day as well. Thus, virtually interviewing became essential in 2020 for most companies when in-person job interviews were suddenly stopped due to social distancing orders. Experts believe a combination of the two interviewing methods will be the way recruiting and hiring are done post-pandemic, as traditional hiring practices make a comeback alongside recently adopted virtual processes.
Thank you, Mr. Iman, for sharing your thoughts and findings on this topic. I am interested in Ms. Nurul Iman's speech just now, where she mentioned that virtual interviewing became essential in 2020 for most companies. I think to describe further, perhaps we can hear from our Officer of Ministry of Human Resources, Ms. Noraini. Ms. Noraini, the mic is yours.
Thank you, Ms. Nadia. I am so grateful to be invited to this forum tonight, together with all the wonderful panelists. As a start, allow me to describe a little bit about virtual recruiting. A term virtual recruiting refers to a hiring procedure in which candidates are interviewed digitally rather than in person. Recruiter and line manager identify and interview candidates using online recruiting portals, social media platform, and conferencing technology in this modern style of hiring. Social media platforms have become commonplace for screening candidates, gaining a better understanding of their market presence beyond their CV profile, getting instant access to recommendation and communicating directly with candidates without the use of intermediaries. They are also useful for connecting with potential employee and building a reputation as a desired employer. The growth of online digital recruiting service to have access to a large database of qualified candidates is essential to virtual recruitment. Virtual recruitment relies heavily on social media network. Companies can successfully reach out the qualified applicant by using their advertising capabilities to cut through layer of intermediaries. Besides that, VR technology is being used to observe the business culture and environment. Companies can use virtual reality to demonstrate their workplace surrounding by allowing potential employees to see the corporate culture, office space, and sample of company happy hour celebration.
I am sorry to interrupt. I am agreed with the statement by Ms. Noraini. I believe there are advantages and disadvantages to virtual recruitment as well. Video interviewing accelerates the entire hiring process. Setting up on-site interview with candidates and all relevant stakeholders is a task for recruiters and sometimes fraught with cancelled and rescheduled appointments. Hiring managers can conduct more interviews in less time virtually than in person. Once a call is over, the call is over. When interviewing a person, we have to account for the potential for someone to be late and other interruptions or obstacles that happen in the office. Virtual interviews also allow more of the employee stakeholders to sit in on the interview from wherever they are around the world. And recorded interviews can be reviewed by more team members on their own schedule or used for training purposes for new hiring managers and recruiters.
Agree with you, Ms. Iman. And as for the disadvantage, recruiters must simply go on to another candidate if there are frequent disconnect or poor video or audio quality, even if the initial prospect has higher skill, expertise, and experience. Because their presentation wasn't as effective as it should have been, poor video quality can hurt a candidate's chances of getting hired. There are still a lot of a job that doesn't require computer or technology skill. But if candidates are being accessed through a video interview, these skills are required. Every candidate that is interviewed by video is often assigned a set amount of time and a time slot during which they will be interviewed. However, their time slot will not be extended if there are any system delays or technical difficulties.
Thank you so much for the informative information, Ms. Naraini and Ms. Iman. Well, to discuss further on this topic, shall we proceed to our next panel, Ms. Nur Marini. Ms. Nur Marini, what do you think about the online recruitment process? Does it effective and suits the company needs during this pandemic?
Thank you so much, Ms. Nadia. I believe Ms. Norani and Ms. Iman have given their good thoughts on this topic based on their research and also experience. I really appreciate it. But however, I would like to add a little bit based on my perspective. Online recruitment opens up the door for a whole new way of communication. You can keep in contact with people via email, through job posting websites, or through video calls. With online recruitment, you have the ways to communicate with candidates easily instead of needing to talk over the phone or in person, which it could cost you a time. If you use recruiting software, you can send mass emails out to candidates and just to save your time and streamline the process. And candidates can send their applications right on the job posting site or to your email address. They can ask you questions over the email, and if you want to conduct a pre-screening interview, you could set up a video call to help narrow down the candidate pool. But however, even though communicating online can alleviate immediate stress and save your time, it could end up costing you. Online sourcing strategies are less personal than over the phone or even face-to-face, which could be a turn-off for some qualified candidates. For me, communicating online might also paint a completely different picture of an applicant than if you had met them in person. If you are going to communicate online, make sure both of you and the candidates also are on the same pages. Relying on online recruitment might lead to a client hiring the perfect candidate. You have more people to choose from, and you can even use social media to learn more about the candidates. If both the clients and the candidates are satisfied, your client's business decreases the chance of an early turnover, which is a win for everyone. Okay, but unfortunately, in some cases, online recruitment can lead to an imperfect candidate-client match since you conduct your affairs primarily online. Trying to juggle online requirement advantage and also disadvantages will take some time. Without meeting the person and talking with them in person, you might know less about how they will fit in the business culture. And as a result, you could miss out on someone else who would make a better match. And also your client will be dissatisfied if they lose a new hire due to a bad fit.
Ms. Nurmarini, I understood that although the online recruitment procedure may assist us to get a better candidate in a short time, it may also have issues with it. Yet, it does not mean that this process is a no-no, but there are still ways to make it better. Am I right?
Yes, Ms. Nadia, you are absolutely right.
Thank you, Ms. Nurmarini. Ms. Almeida, based on your working experience in HRDF, you have been communicating with companies that have been affected by this pandemic situation. So, do companies accept and apply this virtual recruitment?
It is a very good question, Miss Nadia. Thank you. In my experience, dealing with company throughout this pandemic season, I would say that most of the company in Malaysia to accept and apply virtual recommend. I did not see why they will reject this process as we know the pandemic has made our standard operating procedure upside down. So many things have been changed to adapt to the new normal. I give you an example. Mr. Ray Teng, Chief Executive Officer of Mahukerja.my, said 30% of his company were active in the recruitment process, but his company also tired other mission in running their business. According to him, working online required employers to be reskilled and all-round training to handle new environment and technology. He also said when the Movement Control Order (MCO) was announced in March last year, the number of jobs listed on online recruitment platforms had dropped by 70%, but in May showed a change.
Ms. Almeida, I'm sorry for interrupt you. But I do have a question to ask if you don't mind.
It is my honor to receive a question for you, Ms. Marini. Please go ahead.
Thank you so much, Ms. Almeida. Okay, do you receive any complaints or do any companies share with you their challenges faced during this pandemic?
Actually, organization will continue to expand the use of contingent workers to maintain flexibility in workforce management of after COVID-19 and will also consider introducing other employment models they have seen during the pandemic, such as talent sharing and 80% pay for 80% work according to Gartner analysis. Most organizations respond to the economic effect of a pandemic by reducing their contractor budget. In this deep pandemic situation, the increased use of online communication tools is very useful. This is because it can avoid face-to-face and cater for a long time that can split this pandemic. The traditional way of recruitment candidate, for example phone call and email, is still in use. Even upgrade by using online telecommunication by conduct video interview to select candidate and pick.
Ms. Almeida, by any chance, do you have any tips on handling online recruitment?
Yes, I do. Here are some tips for me. First, check your visual. How strong is your internet connection? Did you pick a spot with a clear background and minimal distortion? Visual matter especially when trying to establish a connection. Dress properly, smile, and look straight into the camera. Second, keep it formal. This is still a professional setting. Even if you are situated in your own room, so do not treat it like other casual get-together with friends. Be respectful, address others properly, and be on time. Third, focus. Keep your full attention on the screen, whether to the presentation or the person talking to you. Do not multitask. It might even help to keep your cell phone away. Fourth, answer with confidence. Consider any opportunity to speak with a prominent employer as the first step in your virtual job interview. Treat it like how you would introduce yourself in an actual interview, full of confidence. I believe if this important thing are followed, online recruitment will be easy as ABC. Sorry.
Thank you, Ms. Almeida. As mentioned by all our panels today, the pandemic has influenced recruiting trends. There are advantages, disadvantages, and challenges to the companies to run online recruitment. Nevertheless, there are always a way to make it work perfectly. I believe all companies around the world, not only Malaysia, are doing their best to adopt all these new ways of recruitment, and I would like to wish them all the best. Looks like we have reached the end of our time. If you have any suggestion for more interesting topic in the future, you can WhatsApp to our hotline number 019-4121-720 or email to us at hrf@gmail.com.my. That's all for tonight. Thank you to all the panels who are willing to come to our forum today and share your good thoughts on this topic. I really appreciate it. And thank you also to the audience too, who remains loyal until the end of this forum. Inshallah, we will meet again on the same day and the same time with a more interesting topic. Stay safe. Assalamualaikum and good night.